It has been really a wonderful time for students to interact with the native speaker or sometimes advanced language learner. We sometimes use students who are majoring in Korean studies, and they also provide the interaction. It's meaningful, and they serve as a powerful role model for all the language learners.
You're listening to Speaking of Language, a podcast recorded at the Language Resource Center at Cornell University. Each week, we explore a topic related to language pedagogy and language acquisition. This week on Speaking of Language,
Dr. Mijeong Mimi Kim shares the benefits of integrating undergraduate teaching assistants into the language curriculum.
Welcome to a new episode of Speaking of Language. I'm Angelica Kramer, the director of the Language Resource Center at Cornell University.
And I'm Sam Lupowitz, the LRC's media manager. Today, we are joined by Dr. Mijeong Mimi Kim. She recently gave a talk as part of our monthly LRC speaker series on integrating undergraduate teaching assistants into the language curriculum, which you can watch on our website.
Welcome to Speaking of Language, Mimi.
Hello.
We are so excited to keep talking about your experiences with undergraduate TAs. But before we dive into that, please tell us about your own path with languages. What does that look like for you?
So I was trained as actually a English as a second language teacher trainer, and I have a background in linguistics. So when we moved to St. Louis, and they were looking for Korean language faculty at Washington University, it just felt natural to step in that role. And it was sort of reverse role from what I used to do, teaching how to speak English to non-native English speakers, to teaching Korean to English speakers. So there was a little bit of adjustment, but it was a natural transition.
Nice. That's wonderful. Any other experiences with language learning that you have yourself?
Well, I came to the States when I was 16, not speaking a word of English.
Oh, my.
And after, I think, 18 months, I studied college at SUNY Binghamton, not far from Ithaca,
Oh, yeah?
the Cornell. So from there, I think I really got curious about language acquisition process because looking at my own experience from non-speaker to be able to be in college 18 months, I just couldn't explain what happened.
Magic.
Well, it was a difficult process.
Of course.
But along the way, I really had a lot of support from great teachers and friends. And that actually, I think, made a big difference.
Oh,
So
without a doubt.
with that ingredients, and I wanted to find out what happened.
Yeah, nice. Where did this idea first come from to integrate undergraduate teaching assistants into your Korean language program?
Well, I might have mentioned that during my talk. I was the only Korean language faculty for first 10, 12 years here. And I was teaching students from first level to fourth to fifth level every day, multiple years. And I eventually felt badly for students who only have access to me. And also our Chinese language program had many graduate TAs that they use for weekly one-on-one sessions that's required for everyone who are enrolled in language program. So I was really envious of that.
Right.
And then I learned that there are relatively large number of international students from Korea who graduated from Korean high school at the time. And they are really high quality native speakers who are peers to our students. And it just felt natural to involve them somehow. But I studied out as sort of a tutor system at the beginning. But then eventually I really wanted to incorporate them into the regular curriculum,
Right.
which really means a lot more to the students who are getting helped and students who are helping. So it was a great idea, I think. I thought at the time, and it really proven to be a great success.
Tell us, what does the UTA integration look like? What do the undergraduate TAs do?
Okay, so currently, the current version of the UTA program, it evolves with the student population and also UTA population somewhat. But then currently, and has been for past several years, they are integrated into our weekly integrative language lab, which happens every Friday as part of the regular classroom time. So we meet 5 times a day for first and second level students. So on Fridays, we all meet in active learning classroom.
Nice.
And because it's really nice, it's a nice flexible space where we can try different activities. It could be a pair work, individual work, group work, and UTAs actually. I call them roam around the room, interacting with students, sometimes as a conversation partner, or sometimes as an activity facilitator, or sometimes as the student work checker. And they provide instant feedback, personalized feedback to students as needed. And that aspect is really valuable for students who really struggle sometimes or who are looking to engage in conversation about other than the classroom context. Of course, after they are finished with the required work portion. But it has been really a wonderful time for students to interact with the native speaker or sometimes advanced language learner. We sometimes use students who are majoring in Korean studies who are enrolled in at least on 4th level language course. And they also provide the interaction.
Right.
It's meaningful, and they serve as a powerful role model for all the language learners.
So you just touched a little bit on this, but who are the TAs and how are they selected and trained?
Okay, so the most of the TAs are native speakers who are international students or students who have grown up in this country since their teenage years, who possess native proficiency. So we have online application system, simple application, but I also ask for their language background, the age they arrived in the States, and then the motivation, availability, and what do I do? I think that's about it. So why do you want to serve as a undergraduate TA? What do you think? What do you hope to learn from this experience? So questions like that. So we go through the online application. We select about 7, 8 to 12 maximum
Wow.
TAs each semester, because we found out more than 12 is hard to manage.
Sure.
It increases workload too much for the faculty involved. Those students are really enthusiastic most of the time. And we also have students who apply to be TAs, as I mentioned, the majors or minors who have studied language with us for at least 3-4 years.
Nice.
So you said that when they apply, they talk about what they would like to learn. What do they get out of this? What are the benefits for and the impact on the UTAs, the students, and the faculty and the whole Korean language program?
So actually, when I first started, I didn't think about that aspect as much. I was looking for students who can help our language learners.
Right.
Yeah.
But then as years passed, it was more evident that there are a lot of things that these TAs learn and get out of this experience. For one, just practically, they learn to engage students who are learning language. So they are working on their teaching skills,
Right.
interpersonal skills, and they also learn in the process that a lot of them actually have this motivation, which was surprising, that they like to be able to speak the Korean language in formal way, formal enough to teach others, and then also to be able to practice their future workplace language use. But that's little contradictory to our language learners' motivation because they like to speak to their peers using the colloquial Korean. But then we never really had any trouble with this. But I think UTAs, they actually really enjoy building relationship with these language learners. Because in university campus like this, sometimes they live in their own bubbles, and
Right.
it's sometimes hard to reach across
Sure.
the different group. And this is a perfect setup for everyone involved because they get to actually know students of their own age from different backgrounds, language, cultural backgrounds, with a common interest of Korean language and culture. So it has been really wonderful to watch the relationships build, and they actually move out of the class too. They sometimes get together for
Oh, nice.
like holidays. So they'll get together and sometimes forget to invite me.
Not nice.
Yeah, but I think there is a place for that. They like to hang out with their own
Sure.
peer. Yeah, I mean having a teacher there, it feels too much like class.
Of course.
So yeah, so they enjoy that natural, the relationship, the community building experience. So they cook together sometimes, and then they also meet each other in Korea when they go
Oh,
study
cool.
abroad
Yeah, fun.
or travel during the summer. And it's I couldn't really ask anyone to do so. I mean, but then they just do it voluntarily, and they really have a great
Wonderful.
time.
Yeah, that's
And
great.
they learn about different aspects of Korean culture that I don't present in class as well.
Cool.
Yeah, it makes sense. So you mentioned that you have a great variety of students, of learners in your classrooms, and that in these Friday sessions, sometimes you combine various levels. How do you meet the needs of both heritage and true language learners in a classroom? And how do the TAs actually achieve that?
So it's really tough, as having all these diverse students in a single classroom, which is true for all classrooms these days. I mean, we have
Right.
diversities of all kinds.
Absolutely.
The personality to learning preferences to the psychological,
Oh, absolutely.
neuro. I mean, to name a few. So for heritage students, as I think I mentioned in the presentation, I do course intake survey at the beginning of the especially fall semester. That I ask for motivation and goals for each group, everybody, and I categorize according to the heritage and foreign language learners, and they are the motivation and goal overlap somewhat, but they have distinct motivation for heritage speakers, which are they want to learn to speak more formally because they grew up speaking this informal language with their parents and their siblings sometimes. So
Right.
they like to develop their formal language, and they like to increase the accuracy of their the grammar because they haven't really focused on the grammar, while the foreign language speakers would like to be more communicative competence
Sure.
oriented. They like to be acculturated and they want to be exposed to the culture, which is really hard to provide in campuses like here in
Yeah.
St. Louis in the Midwest. So, I mean, I'm not solving all the problem, but but it's a little glimpse of interaction they really cherish, it looks like, because at the end of 15-minute lab session, students don't leave. We just have to sometimes chase them out. Please leave. And so TAs, we provide the lab material, which come in PowerPoint format because it can contain a lot of different things. It contains video sometimes, links to the YouTube, and they have animated like grammar practice sessions, conversation prompts, and all sorts of things. It's really handy. So for heritage students, TAs work with their accuracy. So they will work on their clear pronunciation and accuracy. And I think it seems to really work with heritage students as well as foreign language students.
Right.
And then the benefit of these PowerPoints, I structure them so that it starts with the really basic target grammar of the week. So it could be animated grammar pattern practice, and then it moves on to the more interactive ones, and then the application extension. So students move on their own speed.
Nice.
So we have slower learners who get through only 60% of the slides. It's fine because I do grade on their performance. Well, I do have at least one graded assignments which they will submit to Canvas during the lab, which takes about 5 minutes.
Okay.
It could be a conversation prompt they wrote together with their friend or partner and recorded and instantly uploaded to the Canvas. But then every step of the activity, the slides, they have section. Every few slides would have check your work, get checked by the teacher or the TA section. And they also receive accompanying handout. So they get checked off as they progress. So there is definitely the accountability portion, because I found over the years that works the best when there is accountability of progression. They don't get penalized if they are not finished. And I was worried that what if they just don't pay attention to this and do something else. But amazingly, students are really busy and immersed
sure.
in the activities, and the amount of practice they get during this lab time is a lot more than regular class when I teach in front, with interacting with students. So it provides a lot more individualized practice time.
Nice.
And it actually addressed different learning styles, because some students really like spending that time alone. But then they are forced to interact with others because they have to get checked on certain activities. And others, some students learn a lot better when interacting with others. So it addresses different type of learners. And it's been interesting to see how this works.
Very cool. Were there any aspects of the undergraduate TA initiative that were surprising to you?
That they comment at the end of semester that they learned a lot from this experience. I thought, I mean, as I said earlier, I was interested in getting helpers. But
Right.
then over the years, it's actually moving toward, I mentioned the experiential learning for UTAs. And I think they gain a lot. I mean, on surface, they can get recommendations and certificates that they need for their CVs. But at the same time, they are actually developing some valuable skills that they would not have opportunity to.
Mimi, in your talk, you also noted that UTAs may be more effective than graduate TAs. What are the benefits of UTAs over grad TAs? Or if how would you differentiate between how you would place an undergraduate TA versus a graduate TA in your classes?
So graduate TAs are typically immersed in discipline, right? So
Right.
for our department, they are more into literature or, the culture aspect. And they're really not a language teacher preparation
Right.
people. But then, and also they are a little bit removed and a lot more serious about their study.
Of course.
So but the undergrads, they are students' age group.
Right.
And they have a common experiences of this,
Gotcha.
campus and lived experiences, plus this interest in Korean culture and language. So I think it's somehow more efficient and effective because they relate to each other much better. So that's the keyword. They relate to each other much better and more effectively than graduate students would.
Terrific. So, where can colleagues start with setting up a similar program on their campus?
I think the UTA program can take on many different form and
Sure.
format as needed. So in our department, Chinese program have a different approach. They use UTAs, but they are very limited. So they will just use them as conversation partners, weekly conversation partners for 15 minutes for everybody. So that's their way of using UTA. They also use them as graders, which I don't. But if that's your great need, maybe you could do that.
Right.
And they are they are definitely capable of doing that. But I value more of an interactive aspect of their abilities. So I much rather use their time as in the lab as an interaction and speaking partners
Right.
rather than using them as graders. Graders, you can just use somebody else.
Sure. Yeah. Well, this entire initiative sounds really amazing. What a great way to engage all the students, right? Previous, current, heritage, learners, all the things. And it sure sounds like this is keeping you busy. But Mimi, are there any other projects you are working on or anything else that you would like to share with our listeners?
Okay, so besides this has been ongoing and evolving. And with the different interest of mine, of the time, I try different things. So for a while, I try to do projects with these UTAs
Right.
and students, and I also explored using metaverse. It started during the pandemic because we still were holding lab, but it had to be
Right, of
online.
course.
So I had to come up with a little bit more engaging way to do metaverse, the interaction. So that played a while, and I still keep at least one session about interacting
Nice.
on this metaverse space because there are certain things that's just a little bit more appealing to these Gen Z students. And also, I also now doing AI integration as a tool, AI as a tool. So I'm trying to figure out different ways to do this. And I'm trying to figure out how to come up with effective policy
Right.
with these
Important.
students. So,
absolutely.
which is really important. So I see there are like 3 things that kind of stood out as in AI thing. Students actually cheat using AI because they are pressed for grade. They want, grade pressure. They don't have time. And then they are not sure what's acceptable. So addressing these 3 points are important to me. So the grade pressure, I think I will address it. I've been addressing it with types of activities and assessment tools. I'm just a little bit different, do things differently now. And then again, the same thing, the press for time, we just lay out clearly when different things are due. So it's communicated clearly. I love tables. I put everything in tables, schedule, assignments, everything. So that seems to help. And then the last thing, they're not sure what is acceptable, so we make policies together. So everyone is on the same page.
Nice.
Fantastic. Well, Mimi, where can our listeners learn more about you and your work?
I think they can not call me, but email me.
Great.
And I've been giving talks at conferences and things like that. But
Wonderful. Yeah, that sounds good.
Great. We can put your email in the show notes if that works for you then.
yeah, that's fine.
Great.
That's fine.
Wonderful. Well, Mimi, it was really great to continue this conversation about your wonderful undergraduate teaching assistant initiative. Before we sign off, though, we would like to ask you for a word in a language that you love, that you are learning, that you may want to learn, that makes you feel inspired. What is that word?
Well, I've studied German before.
Sehr
I've
schön.
studied French.
Très
I've
bien.
studied Japanese, but none of them stuck.
They're still somewhere in that brain of yours.
I hope they are. So I'm gonna do that. But I was thinking about it the other day. I usually start my conversation like this. I'm curious. I say that a lot. I am curious. I have a question. So those 2 words. I have a question and I'm curious. So that curiosity, gets me into trouble a lot. But
I think that's great. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for speaking of language with us today, Mimi.
thank you. 감사합니다 in Korean.
We'll be back next week with an exciting conversation with painter and award-winning translator of Hindi and Urdu literature, Daisy Rockwell.
Until then.
Auf Wiederhören!
The Language Resource Center is located on the ground floor of Stimson Hall on Cornell's main campus in Ithaca, New York. Check us out on the web at lrc.cornell.edu.
And follow Cornell LRC on Facebook, Instagram, and Blue Sky.
Speaking of Language is produced by Angelika Kramer and Sam Lupowitz.
Recorded by Sam Lupowitz.
Original music by Sam Lupowitz, Dan Gable, and Joe Gibson.
Thanks also to the College of Arts and Sciences at Cornell University.
As a reminder, the ideas and opinions expressed on this podcast do not reflect those of the College of Arts and Sciences or any other official entity of Cornell University.
We thank our listeners, and do stay tuned for our next episode.